You said that Trump has been impeached twice.
Yes.
There have been 5 criminal and civil suits.
Yes.
You said that he has been tried as a private citizen, which is unprecedented.
Yes.
And all of these people that I mentioned on the left would point to things, the insurrection least among them, as far more than warranting the sort of treatment he's had with the legal system.
Yes.
Now, I understand that there are arguments to the effect that Trump is not responsible for the insurrection, and that might be something you cite, but I'll leave it up to you. This is, I think these are the biggest events that people are citing for why he should not be president.
When I made that statement, let's go through them one by one. We can start with the E. Jean Carroll suit. She was a person that she allegedly, 3 decades earlier, said she was sexually assaulted by Donald Trump. She couldn't remember the year, it was inexact. She couldn't remember what she wore. In fact, she said she wore a particular dress that wasn't even in production at the time that the event supposedly took place. Stranger still, the scenario that she gave was almost exactly the same as a plot of a TV show, almost exactly the same, of a person who goes into the same department store, goes to a dressing room, and supposedly is sexually assaulted by a celebrity. She couldn't answer any questions about the actual details. The suit that she filed in front of a favorable judge was funded entirely by Reid Hoffman, a mega billionaire and Biden donor. So it was highly irregular. The second one, Letitia James, she filed a suit and said that Donald Trump had overvalued his Mar-a-Lago residence, which she said was worth about $17 million, and therefore got a loan from the Deutsche Bank that he otherwise wouldn't have. And therefore he had committed fraud. That was the main topic of most of her indictment. I can get into the other ones, but that was the main one. The bank in question said they had no problem. They knew exactly better than she did the exact value of Mar-a-Lago. Most people think today Mar-a-Lago may be worth anywhere from $100 to $200 million. Anybody who drives by it can see that. 20 acres with waterfront on both sides. So the bank in question that issued the loan said not only did they have no problem with the assets that were used as collateral, the loan was paid back promptly and with profitable interest on their part, and they would issue another loan again. So that has never been used against a public figure in New York, or any figure. The third one with Fani Willis, the argument was he called with people on the line and said, find me the votes. Now you can argue that might have been to a registrar. He didn't say invent the votes, he said they're basically there and you've got to go find them. I've talked to a lot of politicians since that, because I was curious myself. How many times in close races have you called the registrar or the attorney? All the time. I don't think there's been counting how many votes are left. There must be more votes. That was criminalized by Fani Willis. And of course, it's now in suspension because the special prosecutor that she hired was her paramour. And there was accusations that she has not been able to refute that she was giving money to the special counsel that she hired and then going on junkets with him with the monies he had taken from her public purse. And he had met twice with the Biden White House. If you go to the third one, Alvin Bragg, he alleged that Donald Trump had given money to Stormy Daniels in a non-disclosure. There's no controversy that he did. I don't even think there's controversy that Donald Trump had a sexual union. He's denied it, but it looks very incriminating. So he had a common non-disclosure, an embarrassing situation, 10 years before. The argument was that that was a campaign donation that he did not report. And therefore, it wasn't personal. He wasn't trying to protect his family. Well, I think most people disagreed, but the point doesn't matter whether most people disagreed or not. The federal prosecutor who prosecutes federal statutes, because that's what campaign finance statutes apply to in presidential campaign, chose not to prosecute and said there was nothing there. Alvin Bragg then took a federal violation, he thought, and jump-started it into a state. And of course, the judge, Mershon, was a donor, a small donor, but a donor nonetheless to the Biden campaign. And his wife was a major advisor to Democratic candidates. And he was urged by a number of justices, retired lawyers, legal to recuse himself. He did not. So if we go to the Letitia James, the Alvin Bragg, the E. Jean Carroll, then we go to Jack Smith. Excuse me, I got to go to, we did Letitia James. Go to Jack Smith. There is no special counsel statute. It's expired. Congress never renewed it. He's not a special counsel. He is a special prosecutor who was appointed by Merrick Garland, and he is an employee of the DOJ. The DOJ's own handbook on judicial ethics and principles for all their employees says that no federal indictment shall be issued in a major political figure or concerning a major political event 90 days before a count. That's exactly what he is doing now. More importantly is this, he was the subject of Donald Trump of a parallel situation in which Special Prosecutor Smith was investigating his supposed unlawful removal of classified documents from his personal residence. At the same time that was happening, Special Prosecutor Robert Hur was investigating incumbent and current President Joe Biden. Special Prosecutor Hur, if you read the entire report, has testified that Joe Biden illegally, in a period of over 3 decades, removed documents that were classified. He put them in unsecure locations, perhaps 4 of them. More importantly, he had his ghostwriter give access to those documents. The ghostwriter destroyed the tapes, said he was worried that they may be hacked, even though they were under subpoena. Prosecutor Hur said that could have been indicted, but he chose not to because he felt that the ghostwriter did not mean it with evil intent. He said that Joe Biden was culpable, but he didn't think that he could win a conviction. And I've not heard of this about a federal prosecutor before, because of Joe Biden's cognitive problems and age would rend him as a sympathetic character before a judge. Therefore, he chose not to prosecute. So you have this parallel prosecution on the documents. What I'm getting at is in all prior cases, when there is a dispute about a classified document, it's usually handled administratively or bureaucratically. You don't take an FBI type SWAT team and go into somebody's private range. And anybody who drives by Mar-a-Lago can see it's much more secure than is Joe Biden's garage as we know it from photographs. Then we get to the insurrection, the final point. So on January 6th, Donald Trump addressed a group of people. I think that was unwise because there were people massing at the White House and they had announced that they should go over to the Capitol. To save him, whether you think that it was self-serving or it was genuine, it doesn't matter. He did say to the group, I expect you to assemble peacefully and patriotic at the Capitol and make, quote, your voices heard. So they went over there and they entered unlawfully the Capitol in the rotunda. They went through offices. There was violence outside the Capitol. The leftists called this an insurrection. But if you're the head of an insurrection, you don't tell people to assemble peaceful and patriotically. If you go into the Capitol and you're there for insurrectionary purposes, you're armed. They didn't find a firearm. People had said they found a taser or a knife, but they have not found a firearm. Matthew Rosenberg, a Pulitzer Prize winner of the New York Times, in an unfair but genuine ambush interview, admitted to the interviewer that he thought the whole thing was a joke in the sense that he recognized FBI informants throughout the assemblage out in the grounds. Should that have happened? No. Was that reckless? Yes. Was that an insurrection? No. Did that stop the certification of the election? No.